to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Singh?
There.
Kramer?
Here.
Reichner?
Here.
Henry?
Here.
Ister?
I just want to announce the city council had an executive session before this meeting, 5:30, to talk about police issues. I need a motion to accept the approval of the minutes of the police department, treasurer, engineer, code office, public works, police pension board, redevelopment authority, and the planning commission.
Ister? Persing?
Yes.
Kramer? Reichner?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Any audience comments on the agenda items at this time?
I have one comment on the unfinished business of the reading of the ordinances. Rick, was there any rewriting, or are they just the same ordinances that you had the last time?
Well, we have some changes, and we're going to go over the changes tonight.
Okay,
And these, as I say, some of these have been tabled for 6, 8, 10 months because other things are supposed to be done. And we just figured it's time to get them back on.
okay.
Okay, Joe.
Yep, thank you.
Is there anybody redevelopment authority? Okay. Who's here from SRI? The floor is yours, Megan.
Thank you very much. As always, there's always stuff going on. We did, for the Albright Council, I did make sure we had a copy of our project report. We have received notice from H2 that they're going to be changing locations. So we're doing some planning sessions on how to adjust and, keep moving forward with that project. We also, late night shoppers seem to be a great success again. We're down a little bit with crafters, but we're working on building that back up for next year. We still see all the people who participated. We're happy with the turnout. We have a new committee chairperson, Diana Williams, who will be taking over Lake Augusta Wine and Food Festival in the upcoming year, and she's from North Shore Railroad. So we're really excited to have her on board and some new energy, and I think she'll be a great addition to that committee. Also, the Hill neighborhood had put in a request to the funds that were designated to SRI about 8 years ago for city and crime watch and neighborhood development. There was a vote that it was declined for the purpose listed, but we did advise them on how to redo it to be more compliant with our strategic plan and hopefully help promote the neighborhoods. So we asked them to try and resubmit something else. This will be my last meeting speaking to you as the SRI president because our new president will be Jeff Stoddard from North Shore Railroad. So we'll be coming to the board as of January 1.
Seems like it was just yesterday.
Jeff what?
Jebediah, Jeff.
Jeff, okay.
Jeff Stoddard, Stotter, and he is Zach. Do you remember Zach Stoddard who worked with SRI? And that is his brother. So definitely happy to have him on board, and our new secretary will be Matt Hamilton from M&T Bank.
I want to thank you for all your years of service.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I was glad to do it. Lastly is New Year's Eve celebration, and on a really positive note, we have 2 local bands playing, Kayla and Birdlaw. We'll be, of course, lighting a light bulb and putting out fireworks and all sorts of fun like that. Carnival themed children's area in Cameron Park from 6 to 8 p.m. with 3 horse-drawn carriage rides, and of course a VIP tent. Those tickets are $30 and are available at Eventbrite at Sunbury New Year's Eve celebration, or at Brewers Outlet for free insurance or our office. So hope everybody can come out and enjoy it this year. We're really excited to have a couple local bands this year and really do it up right. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I just want to say while you're standing here also, I want to thank you for all your time and effort. And I don't know how we can ever do it, but I would be very safe to say the majority of people living in the city of Sunbury have no clue as to what and all the things that SRI is involved in and how we get things off the ground and get started in that. So again, I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens we'll just keep pounding away and try to let people understand what, what SRI actually does and how we get involved in different things. And no matter if we agree or don't agree on everything, there's a ton of positive things here, which again, a lot of people don't, volunteer, don't do anything, that type of stuff. But I'm sure anybody that wanted to volunteer for anything, you guys can find a spot for them to be up there to do something.
Absolutely. I'll still be involved, just, not in a leadership role, and that'll be actually a nice little break for me, so. But yeah, thank you very much, and we appreciate all the volunteers.
I got a question on
Yeah.
the group that won the base pitch.
Yes.
There's some rumblings going on that they're looking to buy a building or do something in Sunbury.
Yeah, I spoke with them a couple weeks ago. They are trying to figure out whether or not they're going to lease or buy, or what exactly is going to be right for them. That's really kind of the situation they're in. They're very excited to have won, and they're trying to figure out how to make it work. Does that answer your question?
Is that the H2O you were just talking about?
No. That was, I actually have their name here.
Where are they?
Eclipse Brewery.
Okay, you had said that H2O was moving.
H2, Higher Hope Church,
Yeah.
was located in the Albright Center for the past couple of years, but they have given us notice that they're going to be moving out at the end.
Do you know where they're moving?
I believe it's the high school.
Oh, the high school.
Yeah.
The high school auditorium?
Yes. That's my understanding.
Wow.
Did they have to pay rent for the Albright, or?
They did pay rent to the Albright, and they will be paying rent to the school. Oh, well, whatever you want.
How much did they pay rent, or isn't that public knowledge?
Yeah, I don't, you know what, I don't, off the top of my head.
Right.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Rick, under unfinished business, we have some readings here.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Mike go over the changes that are coming about with these different readings, okay? The junkyards, the central business, the habitable floor area, and the permitted use.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ricker. First ordinance we're going to review again tonight, hopefully with success, is going to be the junkyard ordinance. The last time we presented this on the second reading, there were a lot of questions. Hopefully we are able to clear all those questions up. One of the questions was the storing of material. As the ordinance reads now with the change, no open structure would be permitted to be used for the storage. Only enclosed structures would be able to be used for the storage of any scrap materials. That's under definition and under subsection C1. Also, in the definitions and subsection C1 is we added the wording all inoperable automobiles or parts of automobiles, campers or parts of campers, utility trailers or parts of utility trailers. And again, that's both noted in the definition and subsection C, number 1. Number 5, what's added, the word active construction or remodeling, building materials stored in the open shall be placed in elevated racks with at least 18 inches of clear space beneath. Those are the 3 changes for this ordinance that were presented.
Okay. You want to do them separate?
Each one separate?
I have a question on that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the automobiles then, is that commercial and residential?
Yes.
So that affects Sunbury Motors? Because they have a lot of inoperable vehicles sitting around.
Yeah, that's on their own property. This is
Isn't that what we're talking about?
We're talking private, right?
They have a business license, so I think that would fall under that business license.
Well, that falls under commercial if you're talking about, you said commercial and residential.
Yeah, but to answer your question, you're probably right, yeah, it would be private, it wouldn't be commercial. Because commercial, if it's a commercial business and you have the proper license, you can have it.
Well, he's just saying there can't be any.
Include junkyard stuff?
I do not know off the top of my head, but it would make sense that the commercial
Well,
would be
before we
treated.
vote on this, can we at least research it?
We've been researching this for 6 months.
I know.
Well, obviously they haven't
If you have a
been.
garage, you can store parts on the garage. That's what permits are for, that's what you have your business license, that's part of your business.
But a guy up at Susquehanna Avenue who does scrap and stuff, we gotta make him clean up the big companies.
Well, unless he has a scrap business. If he has a business, he has a license to knock on it.
Well, that's commercial.
As long as you have a business license.
He said it
If you'd
applies
like, what
both.
we do is do the first reading tonight.
Okay,
We'll have
yeah.
it, by the time we do the second reading,
This is
I
the
can
second.
research it a little bit more, find out if it's something that.
These are
would
first
change the
readings,
language.
Okay.
starting all over.
If that.
But Mike just said it applied to commercial and residential.
That's not accurate. Mr. Bench is not going to be affected.
Correct.
So it only applies to residential then, is what you're saying?
That was my understanding, yes. I mean, you can't make Salati move, you can't make the school district move their trailers. That's one of the reasons why we looked at this again, because of stuff like that. And with Sunbury Motor Company, there's other businesses in town that stand in the way.
Could you read that definition again then, Mike? About the inoperable vehicles?
It says, all inoperable automobiles or parts of automobiles, campers or parts of campers, utility trailers or parts of utility trailers.
Utility trailer, is that like a trailer that you would pull behind a truck that would be for construction business?
If
So
it's-
they're not allowed to
if
park
it's-
it on their own property?
If
or-
it's inoperable.
Oh, if it's inoperable.
Unregistered.
Unregistered.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. So if it's registered, it's okay.
Yeah, registered.
Unregistered, you can't touch it, so it has to be unoperable by state law.
Well,
It doesn't go up to DOT standards.
Well, yeah, but if it's a vehicle that is just untagged, that is C of a
That's considered an alcohol.
well,
2069 tag, is not under state law. On private property.
okay, Deborah Betts. I'm a little concerned that we're setting different rules from the residents as we are for the businesses. We have enough of businesses in town that can take advantage of that law that you're putting forth for the residents, but not for the businesses. So they can actually hoard all kind of crap on their properties and devalue the property of the homeowner.
If you live next door to a Sunbury Motors, for example, or Alexander's,
Right.
that's their business. Their business is selling cars. So if they have a repair shop and they have a car sitting in a repair shop, that's their
Right.
business.
But it's not just for a car shop though. What if you have other businesses like Saletti's, and I'm not saying Saletti's does it, but say they end up having, and this happens all the time with people who own businesses, they flop their crap on their business property because they don't want to hog up their homeowner's property or their own property or whatever. And it's just, I just don't see where that would be fair to the residents versus the business
If
people.
I own a clothing store and I put a vehicle on my property that has no license or registration, I can't do that, that's against the law. I don't have a permit to do that. So what I'm saying is that Sunbury Motors and the Alexanders have permits, that's their license, that's their business.
Okay,
Right,
gotcha.
so if you have, in other words, you can't go put 6 cars in a pizza place because you have a pizza license.
Right, and that's what I wanted to find
Yeah.
out. I just
That's not how it
wanted to
reads, though.
To clarify, this does say either on public or private property, and what's being amended tonight is not regarding automobiles or parts of automobiles. The language that's being added is campers or parts of campers, and utility trailers or parts of utility trailers. So the automobiles were already part of this ordinance. That's not up for amendment tonight.
Listen,
But we will look into the business license.
but the cluster truck.
Say one thing, and that means something else.
6 months and they didn't research it.
Persing?
Yes.
Kramer? Reichner?
Yes.
Henry? Ister?
Second one, Rick.
Central Business District, Mike.
Yep, this one's just a simple 17590. We're reducing the square footage for central business apartments from 1,200 square feet to 900 square feet.
Make a motion that we.
Kramer? Reichner?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Ister? Persing?
Yes.
Excuse me, is that for the first reading? Is that, what is the vote for?
First
These
reading.
are all first readings, yes.
Is the vote, what is the vote?
That was to change the square footage in central business.
So it has to be, the vote has to be approved, it has to be voted on twice.
First,
It was
we're
1,200,
changing
you
from
moved it back to
12,
9.
Move it back to 9.
Thank you.
Minimum habitable floor area.
Yep. There was no changes done to this. Again, I just want to mention that all we're doing is we're mirroring the 2009 ICC code, which was adopted by the city on the 22nd of December 2014. All we're doing is making it in clear language to put in our code book, city code book, so when someone does make a proposal, it is more clear for them. We don't have to search through the code book, sort of doing some housekeeping. And this was tabled for a group to research the ordinance and look at it. They were given they asked for 90 days. It's now, 11 months. So.
But anyway, we're back to the 900 feet and the 1,200, correct?
No, this is square footage. I think that the ICC book says that up to two removal one of the occupants shall be a minimum of 100 square feet. For each additional occupant, an additional 50 square feet is required. And this wasn't in our local book, but it's in the ICC book, and we're just going to move it over into ours also. I make that motion.
Reichner?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Ister? Persing?
Yes.
Kramer?
And the last one is permitted uses of neighborhood business district.
Yes. And this was originally passed on 6/18/2015. However, when we were doing reviews, we found that we missed some language. Enclosed storage unit should have been included with the language. It was not, so we're tonight to have that language included with the permitted uses in neighborhood business.
I make that motion.
Henry?
Yes.
Ister? Persing?
Yes.
Kramer? Reichner?
Yes.
For all.
I think this is it. Rick, on the very last, 175-51, is that a separate one? Building height? That has nothing to do with this?
I think that's all part of that ordinance. That's all part of the neighborhood
Neighborhood
business.
business, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's all part of
Okay.
neighborhood.
And the only thing that was different from what we approved before is the enclosed storage unit.
Okay.
That's highlighted there.
I was, I remembered the one who did the fire, I remember that.
I have a question on the minimum habitable floor area. Kind of put that in English, if you will. Like, let's take a half double or a single home. More apartments. Is that what it is? Okay,
Everything.
that wasn't clear either, but thank you.
It talks about central business district too, which would be downtown.
Okay, thank you.
What? I'm sorry. First reading, parking prohibited during certain hours. Ordinance 163-26 is the parking prohibited during certain hours. You know, for years, we have our street sweeping. It's always an issue every year. When do we start it? Depending on what the weather is. When do we shut it off? Depending on the first snow. People are always concerned about when they park there, don't park there. What I want to finally do is, and at some point in time, everybody's seen this, which lists the streets that we're going, and the street sweeping schedules, we call it. But we've been enforcing it not as a street sweeping schedule, but as a parking situation. And what I'd like to do is change it to Sunbury City Council shall establish an annual no parking schedule at the last meeting of December for the following year. And what that means is, we're just going, if you can't park on Pennsylvania Avenue on Wednesday, you can't do it all year long. Not just in the middle of the winter or middle of the summer, whatever it may be. It allows the street crew to, say for snow removal, for something like that, if they wanted to do something like, if they wanted the street sweepers plus the snow removal, if they wanted to fix the lights, if they wanted to do anything. And it's a major hassle every year, like I say, when we start it or when we finish it and when you're gonna, you know, there's always 20 people show up with parking tickets that you didn't give me enough warning, where, like I'm saying, right now, what this would do is if you can't park on Cadwest Avenue on Tuesday morning, we won't park there all year long, not just on certain months that we're, you know, when the weather's nice, that type of stuff. And instead of listing all this in the code office, where it says by city council shall establish an annual no parking schedule at the last meeting of December. So in other words, city council would adopt this, and that's what we would use from year after year. And if they want to add a street or subtract a street, that's also at the same time. But what it would amount to, again, is just cleaning the whole thing up and eliminating a lot of complaints from people that get tickets, that don't think they should have tickets, and et cetera, and allow the city, I believe, to put a much better schedule together to maintain your street out front of your house, no matter what the situation may be.
Because actually, Dave, this year, the street sweeper with all the leaves we had, actually, we followed the street sweeper the night that they would have went.
Right.
And it worked out. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the streets had a lot less leaves on it this year, and we got rid of them quicker that way.
And that gives you that time you can schedule your
Correct,
stuff
if you
right.
walk the whole street with no cars.
So I make that in form of motion.
I'll say
Ister,
yes.
Persing,
Yes.
Kramer, Reichner,
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
What period of time are you going to give the citizens to implement this? You know, I mean, because after all these years, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we can't, well, we have to pass it the second reading in January, so it wouldn't go into effect until sometime in
I
February.
understand that, but to implement it, and what kind of time are you gonna give citizens to get on to the new schedule, so to speak?
Well, we'll be talking about it for 3 months, so I would think in 30 days after we pass it, so you're looking at probably not till March. So get started by then. Sometimes if the weather's nice, we start doing the street sweeping by March anyway.
What,
And then once we establish it, it'll be a lot easier just to convince people that this is year-round now, so you don't have to worry about when it stops snowing or when the snow melts.
So how are you going to inform the city as a whole?
Well, we'll probably do like we do every year. We end up putting something on your in everybody's window, saying next, you know, your pass or whatever the police department puts on. We've been doing that forever since the beginning of time it starts. So we would do the same thing as we've done in the past, except we'll change that to say that this is now year-round, which would be another way for us to get right to you directly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Is there any concern of people, you know, that have to park out in front of their house in the winter months? I mean, with those people, if, say they have kids or groceries or things like that, only in the cold months, because that's when you're not doing the street sweeping, any worry about people coming back to complain during those times? They're used to being able to park all winter in front of their house. Now,
Now we're going to tell them you won't do that. It probably won't catch this winter, that's what I was just saying, because you're probably looking at till March anyway, till we get this into effect. So the winter will probably be most over with by then, but it's, at that point in time, we need to be able to say, this is the way it's going to be enforced from now
so the
on.
plan is for next winter, then this will go into effect at that point.
Well, the end of this
But
winter,
if you're used- yeah,
right, assuming that this winter's over in March.
And what happens, Chris, bear in mind, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but say Ronnie digs out his spot, he tries to go to the store quick, somebody comes in and takes it. We get more arguments over that than we do of actually cleaning the street. So this might help eliminate some of that.
Thank you.
How about the handicap, people who have handicap spots then out front of their house?
They still follow the same one.
Do they? Okay, no.
Excuse me. My concern about the whole thing is that during the winter months, that some of the streets where people have to park, they have to go to the parking lots overnight to be able to park there, or to other areas that may not be maintained. Not everybody has the luxury of having off-street parking, or has the luxury of parking someplace where it's gonna be cleaned out during snow emergencies. That's number one. Number two, I hope you're gonna follow the cleaning of the streets schedule for snow emergencies as you are for street sweeping. If people have to move their cars off of the street, say on Monday night, then that Monday night better be the night that you're also cleaning the streets of the snow in that area, not some other night where they have to move again.
That's marked on the sheet.
Which is only fair to the people. The bigger problem is that where are people gonna park during snow emergencies if they have to move their vehicles out of there? And will they have enough time to be able to dig their cars out if it's late night snow?
Well, that's a tough question to answer on that last one, Spank. All depends when the snow, how hard it comes. Then we have to sit down and evaluate and see where we're gonna go when we're coming out.
But people aren't gonna understand that. You're putting a policy out there, you're saying cars have to be off this street at a certain time. And if that's the case, are the police gonna come around and start ticketing cars when they have snow all over?
And you said about the time of the year and stuff, about cleaning a lot. just so everybody's aware, I'm affected by this twice a week. I have Reno and H Street, so I'm shuffling my car twice a week. I have nowhere to go where any other than.
But you have off-street parking up there.
They're not near nothing.
Well, that's,
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm saying, so I'm gonna say so.
Regardless, you still have
I have to
off-street
walk up
parking.
the street and park on a different street.
right?
You
You still
know.
have off-street parking though. They supply off-street parking up there for you.
You know, it's a tough decision, but
Williamsburg does it all the time.
Lori does it. If it's Third Street, they go up Tuesday and they come down the other side on Thursday. You know, you park both sides, you get a ticket.
And I'm not saying that's not a bad idea. All I'm saying is that the schedule has to be followed that way for everybody for the cleaning too. And the bigger problem is gonna be where, and March could be a bad year this year if you follow what the National Weather Service is predicting. February and March is supposed to be pretty snowy. So, I mean, it could be affected in March. And where are people gonna park in a snow emergency? That they have to move their cars off that street?
No, the same place they park in June.
Well, yes, but I can tell you that where people park on Spruce Street by my house is owned by the railroad company, and they don't come in and plow it when there's a snowstorm.
The snow emergency routes are on the ticket, Colonel, that's not gonna change.
I didn't say
Okay.
it's no emergency routes.
And the
I
police
said
aren't
if
gonna
you're
go out at
saying
2 in the morning and
people,
run, it's not a fundraiser, we're just trying to do it so we can give better service to the people.
I didn't say that it was for a snow emergency. I said what happens when you have a snow emergency. Besides the snow emergency streets, like Walnut Street and others.
Right.
I'm talking about if it happens on a Monday and cars are snowed in, and Monday night is the night that they're supposed to be moving their vehicles off of Spruce Street. Where they normally move their vehicles is on railroad property. The railroad doesn't come in and plow that, just so you understand it, they don't come and plow
You know,
that.
it's common sense, we're not sending police cars out to ticket cars that are
Well,
snowed in.
let me answer that. If it's declared like a state of emergency or something, we've gotten so much snow, my guys are out taking care of the streets, keeping them over. They're not working about, they're not gonna probably do, if it's, we come Sunday into Monday with a heavy, Monday into a heavy storm, they're not going out Monday night, because I can guarantee you, they're still trying to get the streets open.
Well,
How long was this ordinance?
So, the unfortunate part
that
is-
we were moving cars. I mean, is this a 30, 40-year ordinance that we were doing this only from March or April to November, or? I mean,
No, it's since the beginning of
It's no
time.
parking year-round, we just didn't enforce
I
it.
know that, but I know, and what I'm saying is, you know, when we were moving these cars, we were at one car to a home back then, now we have 3 cars to a home, so the parking has decreased over the years here. I think we might want to sit back and look and maybe changing, if we're gonna think about this, is changing the way we're doing the streets in the long run. I mean, I don't think we can do this in 30 days, because you're looking at, we have 3 times more cars than we had 20 years ago. And plus also, come winter time, the alleyways are so parked tight, you know, when it comes summertime, now you might have the snow, and people are trying to park these cars and bringing bigger garbage trucks down the alleyways. I think it's something we really need to reconsider and look into different parking ways, maybe doing different streets, down one side of the streets and some streets to the other side.
We looked
So
at
you have
that
all the
before.
different parking, because this is something.
Yeah, and we don't have the
should take
manpower
lightly
to
here.
equipment.
I know that.
And when-
It's already passed, we're gonna try it, what we're trying to do. Nobody's gonna go out and ticket cars if your car gets snowed in, that's not the issue. That's not what it's here for. If we get a lot of snow, you're not gonna see any police cars putting tickets on cars.
Well, but there's also another area down on Spruce Street, that's Spruce and Second, South Section. A lot of people park in that, what used to be a home there, that is a vacant lot now. And again, the problem is that who's gonna maintain that for people to be able to park in there? Now, during the summer, it's not an issue, because it's nice out. But there is no place for people to park a lot of places, and that creates a major problem. And I understand that police aren't gonna be out doing that during snow emergencies. The bigger problem is that people take things literally. And when you say they gotta be off the street, people are gonna be out there trying to get their cars off the street. And, you know, and that creates problems, especially in an older community like we have. So I think you might wanna reconsider some of the ways you're doing this.
We will try to make sure the communication gets to people. Second reading of the budget. Beth.
I want everyone to know that Kevin and I have sat down with each department head, and we have balanced the budget with no tax increase. So this will be the second year in a row. Second year in a row that we don't have a tax increase.
So the
Oh, thank you.
Do you have a motion?
I have a motion to pass this budget, or the second reading of the budget.
Persing,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Eister.
Tax ordinance, Beth?
Every year that we have to do this, we pass this tax ordinance so that we can collect the taxes next year. And since the taxes aren't gonna go up, it's gonna be the same as last year.
That's a motion, I need a second?
Second.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Eister, Persing.
Yes. All right. By passing that budget, we've established that we will be hiring one police officer for sure, and right now we are going to announce that we have an employment agreement between Chief Miller. We're going to make him or at least I'm going to ask council's support to make him a full-time chief effective January the 9th. That's one of the things we talked about, the contract and the compensation and everything at our executive session. And everybody has seen it, so it's time for a vote, and I want to make a motion that we employ as effective January the 9th, that our chief of police Miller will be a full-time chief for the city of Sunbury.
And no longer be administrator?
No longer be an administrator, no longer have any affiliation with the Williamsport Police Department. I shouldn't say no longer be an administrator, because that's still most of his job, that's what it's for. We hired him as a part-time administrator, and he did an excellent job on what we wanted to do. We're not done with that administration setup yet, that's working out as we work on it. We still don't have the contract issues and things like that settled. But come the 9th, he will be a full-time chief.
But is we making the rest of
Yep.
that?
It's a 4-year contract. 4-year contract, yes.
What's the salary gonna be?
His salary is, he's gonna start at $86,000. He will have benefits for the first couple of years. He will not get longevity like the other guys get. And he'll pay towards his health insurance, which the other guys do not.
So there have been no other considerations for chief, that position?
I had 30 of them originally, and then we picked Mr. Miller, Chief Miller, to be the part-time. Have I had new considerations since we hired him?
Correct.
No.
But you have not put it out there to have considerations.
No.
Interesting.
We did initially.
Yeah, like I said.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
But I said since.
Why would we start all over again? Why would you
Yeah,
do it all
let's say we're all
over
in
again?
favor of Chief Miller.
Well, let's call for the vote. I have
I'm posing the question.
I gave you an answer.
Reichner,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Eister,
Yes.
Persing,
yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Chief! I know. Yeah. Well, no, we'll swear in on the